Okay, so let's get started. Hello everyone, my name is Vic and I'll be your lecturers for the second period for today. And yeah, in this lesson, we will talk about all of the things that you will be study about the variables. You will see study about the input, to output in the terminal. Yeah, you can write the little program in today. So here's a topic for today. Here's a topic, even though it's pretty much of it, but some of the topic is like 5 or 10 minutes, so it's not that long. Okay, so let's get started, guys. For the first topic for today, I'm going to talk about the Codeblock. What is a Codeblock? Codeblock is an IDE or integrated development environment. IDE is a software application that provide comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. An IDE normally consists of at least source code editors, build automation tool, and debuggers. And three of this, you will see all of it in today. And here's a pictures of the Codeblock. I guess that all of you have a Codeblock today. So let's get started. So let's get started to write a program. You go to the Codeblock, you open the Codeblock app, you go to the top left of the program, you click to the file, and it will show up the new. You press up into the empty file, and then you will see this empty screen. And then you go to the same one, to the top left as a file, and you go to file, you press save file as, and then you go to the folder that you want to save your file, and you name your file with the name of .save file type. And boom, you are started. You can get started with your first program. My apologies, guys. There's some technical difficulties. I'll be here in 5 minutes. I'm sorry about it.เทคนิคครับพอดีว่าเมื่อกี้มีเด็กเขาเข้าไป2 ห้องอะครับแล้วมีบางคนที่ยังเขาหลุดเข้าไปอีกห้องอะครับรบกวนดูให้หน่อยนะครับค่ะครับผม Okay, so yeah, here is the right now you can go to to write some program, and here's the part of the Codeblock. The first one here is the area for your work. You can write your code, you can write all of your comments that I will mention earlier, I will mention later. And here, this little gear and the button right there, it's build and run program. So you can just go to run the program with just one button. And next is the build messages. This will show all of the errors of the compile. When you compile, if it's wrong, I will mention this in the two next slide. And after you press this button, the build and run the program, it will show this. This is the thing that's called executable folder, executable program. It will show all the output. It will show all the input. You will work quite everything's here. And here is the error messages. In case that you make any errors in the program, it will show on this. And yeah, so let's talk about the C program structures. And yeah, here is the structures of C. The first section here is the preprocessors. The preprocessors include all of the things that have a hashtag there. For like example, the hashtag standard IO, which is like the library that you're going to use. For example, as you guys can see in here, it's a printf. And yeah, the stdio.h, it's form standard input and output. So yeah, you will use pretty much all of it for today. Okay, it's all include preprocessor, as I mentioned before. The things here is called function. The function that you can see here, it's all the things that you're going to write into, and you're going to tell the program that going to run all of it. And here is a comment. It will not be compiled. It will be just like the thing that's you just show the person you gonna give the code to, or someone that or maybe you that going to see this code again once in a while. And the next one is the statement. The statement is all of the things that you're going to do in the program, the command, the input and output, and yeah. And here's the headers. The preprocessor is included in the headers, and I will explain it to you soon. And here, please don't forget the return values after you run the program, because in case that the return zeros, it's telling the program that it's working fine. But if you didn't include the return zero, the program is going to work perfectly fine too. But the compilers, the program, it will be like, yeah, is this working fine or not? And it will waiting for a very long time. It will not affect for the very small program, but in case of you making a very big program, it will have a big problem if you didn't include it. So let's talk about the headers. The header is at the top of the program and is outside of any function. It is a command that uses it to define values or declare the variable of the program. And the preprocessors is used to call the file in the program that is going to use before you compile. What is compile? Compile means to create the executable program from the code written. It's used to declare the constant values for the program, and it starts with the hashtag sign. You can see it here. And the preprocessor that is significant for C is have two main kinds. The first one is the include. Include is used for calling the file that is programmed to use going to operate. And the second one is define, is used to determine the macro of the program. And what is a macro? Macro is a single computer instructions that result in the series of instructions in machine language. So sometimes you're using the Control V, Control V, it is all a macro. It will, it have a little program inside of it. Next up is include. Include is used for calling the standard function that is prepared in the library from the header file .h. For example, stdio.h, as I mentioned earlier, is a standard IO or standard input and output. And this one here is the stdlib.h. It's the standard libraries. And you can use the include in two ways. The first one is include that have two brackets right here. It's calling file from the directories that is set by the compiler. And the second one is the call file in the directories is currently used. So the second one you will gonna use about maybe later in this term, but you're not going to use this recently. And next up is define. Define is to declare the values for the program before you compile. You will start with this line right here, the hashtag define, and the next one is the name of the constant, the name of the variable you want to assign it, and the next up is the value of the constant. For example, in this case here, hashtag define pi is equal to 3.14159. And for the pi, if you're gonna write anywhere in the program, it will not be just pi. It will be assigned as 3.14159. And as same as another one, it's a hashtag define txt. And in case that you're going to have a long text, and that call string that I will explain to you guys later. In this case, it's hello world. Next up is the function. A function is a group of commands that tell the computers to do the various operations. Each function provided are various particular statements, and C have many sub-functions combined together, but must have a main function named main, and which will be initially start on the program. So every time that you start the program, it will start at the in main. Next up is a comment. Comment, as I mentioned before, it's to anyone that go to look at your code and know what are you doing, or like sometimes you don't want to use this code, but just suspend it in case of any problem, you can use the comment. And comment you can place wherever you want, and it of course is a part of the program that will not be compiled. The single line comments, it's right here. It will start with a slash, the 2/, and it will affect just one line. But for the multiple line comments, it will start with the slash and the star, and this kind of comment will affect multiple line. It will be stopped after you repeat this pattern again, but in the reversely. So it will start at, it will end with the stars and the slash. Next up is a statement. Statement is the part that write the statement, of course. And to write the statement, it's inside the two brackets. It must have the semicolon at the end of statement. So semicolon is extremely important. And don't forget to insert every time you doing the code that have you must have the semicolon. Okay, guys, I'm sorry with the technical difficulties, and we will continue our lesson right now. ฝ่ายเทคนิคช่วยกดอัดด้วยนะครับ So from you guys that just may come in, we just talk about all of the statement and include preprocessors. And I will talk about a little bit about it for real quick. For here is the C program structures, which include preprocessor, function, comment, statement, and header. And please, these return values, if you don't have it, it's not going to make your program not compile, but it will make your program wait until it stops the program. So the return 0 is just like telling the program that everything is stopped right now. So I'm sorry about it, but I will make a little bit quick because be quite running out of time. But yeah, here is the headers. The headers is at the top of the program and outside any function. A command that use define values or declare the variables of the program. So as you guys can see in here is the include with a hashtag. We will use this guy very long time. This is standard IO, which means that the standard input and output. And here is the preprocessors. It's used to call the file of the program that is going to use before you compile. And compile is meant to create the executable program from the code written. And it's used to declare the constant values of the program, and it starts with a hashtag sign. The preprocessors that are significant have two main kinds. The first one is a hashtag include. It's used for calling the file that program is going to use to operate. And the second one is hashtag define. It's used to determine the macro of the program. And the macro is a computer's single computer instructions that resolve the series of the instruction in machine language. For example, if we're going to copy, we'll use like the command C. If you want to paste, you command V. It's all this type is a macro. Next one is a hashtag include. So it's due to calling the standard function that is prepared in the library from header5.h. For example, as I mentioned earlier, the standard io.h, the standard library.h. And yeah, the thing that you guys going to use is this one. But this one is the one that you're going to study very last part of the CPE 100. And next up is define. Is to declare the values of the program before you compile. The first one here is the name of the constant. For example, in this case, it's pi. If we're gonna write pi in the program, it will not print as pi, it will print as 3.14159. And here, of course, is the value of the constant. But in this case, that we need to apostrophe here is because the hello world is the string. And I will explain it to you later. Next up is a function. Function is a group of commands that tell computers to do various operations. And each function provided us various particular statements. And of course, C have many sub-functions combined together, but must have to start with the main function named main, which will be initially start at every program. Next up is a comment. You can place where you want. It is the part of the program that is not going to compile. And yeah, there are two kinds of the comments. The first one is a comment that it's just a single line, which will be start just having 2/. But the next one is a multiple line comment. The multiple line comment will be start with the slash and the stars, and will be end with the star and another slash. But between all of the two of it, it will be all comment. You cannot write code in there. Next one is a statement. you will write the statement inside of the bracket, of the true bracket, and it must have the semicolon at the end of all statements. And yeah, semicolon is very significant, and it will not make your program compile if you don't have a semicolon. So, okay. And you guys, please mute your mic. Thank you so much. And the next one is a variable. What is a variable? Variable is a name that can be used in the program. It refers to some area of the memories where information was stored. And there are various kinds of a variable, each kept and used memory differently. So yeah, here is how for you to declare the variables. The first one here is a data type, and the second one here is a variable name. The data type we will study into 2 or 3 slides, next 2 or 3 slides. And yeah, please do not forget the semicolon, my apologies. And yeah, you can assign the values when you are using declare to declare variables. And yeah, you will see the example in the next. And the variable types. In C, the variable type must be declared before you using in order to store the data. And here is all of the variable type, the 5 main kinds that you're going to use. The first one is a char, or is from the characters. It used to store characters and text. And text, it have another name string. The next one is int. It's from the integers. If any of you guys study international in English, study math in English before, the integers is the whole numbers. And the next one is the same as integers, but it has more range. The next one is float, and it stores the real numbers, but it has a decimal included inside too. And of course, the same one as a double. But double values have higher precision than the float values. This means that they can represent more digits and more decimal places. These days, float is rarely used unless the memory space are limited. So let's talk about this guy here, the Ascii. Here is a list of the Ascii table. And you guys don't have to remember all of it. And anytime you want to use it, you can Google it. But yeah, this is the one that Ascii numbers, the Ascii table that sometimes you're going to use in these 4 years. So here's the example to declare the variables. The first one here, we start with char of our characters. Its name is alpha. It's equal to A. When you going to declare the variables, that is just single characters. Don't forget this guy here. And yeah, don't forget semicolon. And yeah, next up is int, which is I declare the name as num, and it's the initialized at equal to 123. And the next up is float. The grade, I name it as a grade, and it's equal to 3.16. Next up is double. Its name is money, and the value of it is 121.111. And the equal sign is the operators that use statement on the right side of the equal sign, assign the values to the left side of the operators. Next one is a string. What is a string? String of the sequence of the characters. And yeah, when you declare the string, you have to do something like this. Size is the numbers of the characters in the string. The reason that we need to +1 because we need to store the last characters, which is \0 or null, to tell the program that the string ends. And I will teach about you guys about the string in the next 2 days. Next one here is the naming variables. Here is a rule of the naming variables. You can use the underscore, you can use the capital letters, you can use the small letters, and you can use the digit. But you're not allowed to use any space, any comma, or any special characters, but underscore can be used. It must start with the alphabet or the underscore. So starting with 0 or any numbers is illegal. And here is the very significant one. The uppercase and the lowercase give a different definition. And you must not have the same name as the reserved word. Good variables. The good variables, the variables should have a meaning. For example, the variables to store the numbers of the students. It may be the student count, and you should assign the variables to the right situation. For example, that the data that have the same decimal, it should assign as a float or double, etc. Here is the list of the reserved word. You can take a quick photo at it because we will do some Kahoot and it's going to be about the reserved word here. So take a quick photo or quick screenshot. I'll give it to you about 10 seconds. Okay. So how to assign the values to the variables? So what does it mean for each of one here? The var, I substituted into the variables, is the name of the variables that is going to be assigned. The next one is expression. Expression is a statement which can be variables, constant values, or the operation between variables. And here's its equal sign. In equal sign is the operators that use statement on the right side of the equal sign assigned to the left values of the left side of the operators equal. So let's see the example here. You go with the int, you assign, you declare the variables as integers. Its name is begin. And the next one, you assign the value of it as begin is equal to 0. And don't forget to return 0 too. But in this one, it's work pretty much at the same as the first one. But if you have if you make your code much shorter. Next one here is int to assign the values of the characters. You assign the variables, you declare the variables named ch1 and ch2. You assign the value of it. ch1 is equal to a, and ch2 is equal to b. And here, you declare variables v1, v2, and v3. And you have the value of it. v1 is equal to v2 is equal to v3 is equal to 1, which means that the value of the three variable here will be equal to 1. v1 is equal to 1, v2 is equal to 1, and v3 is also equal to 1. And this in this case, the last one here, the V1 is equal to V2 plus V3, which means that we already know that V1 and the V2 and V3 is equal to 1. So 1 plus 1 equal, simple math, is equal to 2. So the values of the V1 is going to be equal to 2. Next one, I'll make this a little bit more clear. Yeah, we declare the variable name int. The name is, I name is a var, but I will call it the variable 1, the variable 2, and the variable 3. We assign the values of the variable 1 as 3. We assign the value of the variable 2 as 5. And then this guy here, we plus variable 1 and the variable 2, and after it's plus together, it will equal to 8. So any of you guys have any question right now? If it's too slow or too fast, you can tell me. Okay, so we're gonna go and do some Kahoot. So grab your phone out or grab your anything out, and yeah, let's do some Kahoot. I sent a little help on the chat down below. It will basically all the things that we just studied earlier, but some of them require the memory. So yeah, send you guys capture the screenshot of the slide for the naming variables and the reserved word. So 12 of you guys here. Okay, the quiz will be start in 13:50. Okay, we'll make it 13:50. So the people that have the first place for this will receive 50 coins. The second place will receive 30 coins, and the third place will receive 20 coins. So if you in the top 3, tell me that which score you get, and yeah, type in here. My apologies. Okay. Okay, guys, let's get started with the Kahoot. It's a union. It's a legal variable. It is legal variables because despite union, it's a reserved word, but the big U is not the same as small u. So yeah, the 8 of you got it right. So yeah, let's get started to the next one. It's an underscore hello. It's a legal variable. Yeah, as you guys can see in the screenshot that I sent it to you guys, it can be started with the underscore. Okay. And yeah, let's go for the next one. It's a short, it's a legal character. And yeah, it's false because on the short is the reserved word. Okay, next up is a size of, it's a legal characters. I mean, in this case, just to be clear, that it's the name of the variables that we're going to assign. Okay, 10 of you guys got it right because the size of is a reserved word. And yep. Okay. Next one. It's a char hello. It's the correct way to declare the variable. No. You guys know why it is? Because you need to have the semicolon here before you finish to declare the variable. And the next one is an include. Eight of you guys got bamboozled because as you guys see in here, we use stdio.h, which stand for the standard IO, not studio.h. Okay, let's go for the next one. Wow, someone is caught on fire. Yeah, so if user want to collect data that have decimal point, which variable type should the user use? And yes, it's a float. That if you want to collect the data with a decimal point, you should use a float. Okay. Next question, guys. If the user wants to collect the data, which is the whole numbers, what should we use? Yes, many of you guys got it right. It needs to be the integers or int when you declare it. Yes. Okay, the next one, which of these four is different from others? Yes, the char of the characters. Yes. Okay. Which of these four is different from the others? Okay, in this case here, it's a char. Okay, for the first place, we got Sonia, Pushabet, and Amsa. Okay, so, okay, Amsa, can you write your last 4 digits of your ID? Okay. So my apologies that it's maybe too fast for some of you guys. It's my apologies. And yeah, some of your friends said that the float, the chars, it's not the same. And yeah, my apologies here too. So yeah, so let's go to the next part of the lesson. Yeah, thank you, Parma, for this very good information. Okay. So you guys can see the screen here. You guys can see the screen, right? Okay. Let's continue the lesson. The next one is about the constant variables. What is a constant? Constant is a variable on the data that can't be changed, which consists of the first one is the constant values for the calculation, and the second one is the constant value not for the calculation, which is the string. So here is the constant values for the calculation. The integers constant is of course, is the constant whole numbers. As you guys can see in here, it's just normal numbers, 568 minus 96, positive 645, and the floating point constant, which include constant value that have the normal decimal. And the last one is the scientific notation. So the thing that you guys actually going to use is just the integers constant and the constant values that have like the normal decimal. The scientific notation, it's pretty rare that going to use it, but in more level, I think some of you guys going to use it for sure. And yeah, the constant value for the calculation, the third one, is the character constant. It's a constant, the numbers, the characters, or the format code, which it have to be the in between the two apostrophes. For example, the big A here, the F, the 2, the hashtag, and the plus sign. And two of the last one is the octal constant and hexadecimal constant. And yeah, you're not going to use this for sure, but yeah, you better learn some of it, right? So let's go for the next one, the constant values for not calculation. And of course, it's not for not calculation. It may consist of a number, alphabet, or the special characters under the quotation mark. The text under quotation mark will be saved in the memory. For example, this is C programming or the hello world. Next one is symbolic constant. Some of the constant values may be commonly used in one program. We can assign the constant value by the specific sign to show the definition. To assign the constant, we use hashtag define, which must be declared outside of the function main. So yeah, the first part of the lesson, we already talked about it. And yes, of course, as you guys know, it is a constant. It cannot be changed during the program. The next one, we will show the output of the constant values. So imagine that we are creating the program that to calculate the values of the area of the circle. Yeah, we will declare the double. The area is equal to 0. We declare the int. We declare the pi or the constant value that we used earlier. It's 3.14159. And yeah, we declare the variables name r, which should form the radius. It's equal to 3. And yeah, we multiplied it. Of course, pi r squared. It's the equation for to calculate the area of the circle. And yeah, here's a value of it. And yeah, in order to use this one, in order to use the constant value that we assigned earlier, we can use just a txt. We can use just a txt to declare the name of the hello world. And yeah, what if we using the %s, it will be equal to txt, which when it is going to output, it will equal to hello world. And this is a constant that you want to declare inside of the function. So yeah, if you don't want to use the hashtag define, you can use this guy too. So yeah, it just like work normally, just like the declaring the variables, but you need to use the const or the constant at the front. So just in this case, the constant const, the data type is float, the name of it is pi, and it's equal to 3.1415. And constant, it's int, and the max value that of the integers that you want in the program is equal to 500. And of course, don't forget the semicolon here too. The next one here is the output. What is an output? Output is to show the output to the screen, of course. And we commonly use the use of function of the printf, which in the library studio, the standard io.h, my apologies, I just said it. I just warned you guys earlier. So yeah, here's our output, the pattern of the output. The first one here is the format. It's the output pattern that is specified to set the desired result, which consists of the text that want to directly to show the output, the format of the print data, which are the characters that have the percentage sign at the front. The argument is the data that may be constant or variables or expression that want to print, which will print in the formation that provided earlier. So I will make, if you guys see in the example, you'll be more understand about this. But what is the format here? Here is the format specifier. Some of the format specifier can be compatible. For example, if you're using the %d with the characters that is for the characters, it will show up the ASCII number instead, just like your friend just said earlier. So here the characters, the format specifier is a %c for the just a single characters, and the %s for the text or the string. The int or integers, we are using the %d. Long, we will use the %ld. Float, we will use %f, and the double, we will use %lf. And I will send the slide to you guys at the end of the lesson, so you guys can take a quick look at it. Yeah, so let's just move on. Next up is an example of an output. So yeah, as you guys see in here, you can just write the normal text in here, the printf hello world, or you can combine two of it with the %d, which is named is the %d, the variable that you want to get these values is ID, and the got score is just a normal text. And here is the %d for the variable named Mark. The next one is the value of the pi. And yeah, if we're using the pi, of course, we're using the decimal places. And yeah, we're going to use the %f here. And this, for this one, this cognitive course, just it's just a normal text here, and the %c, you guys actually can use this too. The %c with the 2 apostrophe here. Yeah, it's a S on the $sign. And here is the %d, which is the from the gaining variables, gaining values from cost. My apologies. Next one is an example of the output for another one. Here's is a trick for you guys too. In case that you guys want to use the decimal places, the normally of the numbers will be 6 decimal places. But if we're using something just like this, that's called %point, any numbers that you want to have the decimal places. For example, this one, the 2-digit %.2 LF, which means that it will output just 2 decimal places. For example, just you guys can see here, 2 digits, 0.2. And the next one, we use the %.3 LF. It will show 3 decimal places. And the last one here, we using %.4 LF, which is 1.1235. So yeah, let's move on to the next topic. If you guys have any question, please ask in the Discord or the Microsoft team. If you want me to like slow down a little bit or fast up a little bit, you guys can tell me. Feel free to tell me, please. So let's talk about the control code. Some of the code earlier that I used, you guys may be curious that what it is, the \n. Here it is. It is called the control code. The control code can be used instead of special characters and white spaces. If you have the characters \, at the end and followed by characters or numbers. And here is the list of the control code. As you guys can see in here, we're going to use this form very commonly for this \t, which is the horizontal tab, and the \n is the new line, which all of it is, you guys don't have to remember it. Also, I will give it the slide out too. So yeah, the \b is for the backspace, the \t is for the horizontal tab, the \n for the new line, \v for the vertical tab, the quotation mark is a quotation mark, the \apostrophe it will apostrophe, the \question mark it will be the question mark, and a \/ it will show up the \, and a \0 it will show up the null. The null can be used for reserving the space. Yes. So here is the example of using control code. So yeah, here is the terminal. First one here, you guys can see is the \t. So it will be the vertical tab. And next up is a \apostrophe, which will show the apostrophe here. The reason that we need the \apostrophe, because in the printf, you cannot use just a normal apostrophe inside of the text. You need to use a control code. And the next up is another \apostrophe, and yeah, it feeds to the new line with a \n. Okay. So do you guys have any question about the control code? The control code is just like the small topic that we're going to wanted to talk to write some code. And next one here, we're going to talk about the input. So what is input? Input is, of course, like you're receiving data, you receive the input from the terminal. We will use the function fgets and the function scanf, which is the standard C provided in the header file stdio.h. Some of you guys that already studied C before will not be familiar with this, but you get in here, you study with John Sally. She wants you guys to use the fgets and scanf. It will be like a lot of trouble at the first, but you guys will get used to it. So here is the step to receiving data. So here you're using the string input. You declare the characters. The string named string input is a temporary memory that data will be stored, which you guys can use anything instead of the string input but it have to have the correct meaning, need to have the good meaning of it. So we go next up, we will have the size of the string input. Is how much characters the string input can be hold, which in this case, I already told this earlier, this is 128. So the string input, the input from the terminal or the one that you type into, is 128 characters. And next up is stdin on the standard input. It's a receiving input from the terminal. The standard input just like what you type in there. Okay. So next up is receiving the data. We're using the Scanf, of course. The pattern will be just like the same as print. But the first one here, we need to get the values from the string input. And you print out the format, and you scan out the format, and you maybe have one argument, maybe you have 2, 3, or whatever you want. The format is the argument that hold the data from the users. The argument is the address of the variables that hold the data that user type. And it can specify the address of the characters by adding the ampersand in front of the variables. The variable must be the same type as the format. This most important one. So yeah, let's talk about the receiving the data. Here's the example of it. We declare the variable name alpha, which is the characters. And of course, we have the string input here. We scan it. We using the %c, of course, because it is the alpha. And don't forget the ampersand for the and the next to the variables. And don't forget the return 0. And the next one here is we receiving the input from the terminal, which is the string. And if we are using string, you don't have to add ampersand, which it will be explained at the last lesson about the pointers. Yes, it will just work just a normal as before. We're using the fget to scan out the string input. Yes. Next up is the example of the output. So yeah, we declare the variable, which is integers, named as a number. And the next one, we declare the string input, of course. And next up, we print f to tell the user that it's ready to get ready to type in. And yes, when user type 30 in there, it will scan into the fget, which the value of it, the value of the string inputs, it's not its value. The text of it will be 30 right now. And we scan the variables. We scan the content from the string input into the variable name number, which we assign it as %d, which is the integers. And then you print it, which is you saying that you type as a normal text, and the %d, which is a number. So you are printing the things that user just typed before, and you just print it after that. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? Okay. Next up, and here's is the last topic for today, is the operator. We're going to talk about a little bit about the operators because tomorrow we will study a lot of the operators, but we're going to study a little bit of it to do some code, and it is quite and simple and easy, guys. So what is the operators? The operators are symbols that perform certain mathematics and logical operation. Operators are used in program to manipulate data and variables. So here is a list of the mathematical operators that we're going to commonly use. The first one, of course, the addition. The next one is a subtraction. The third one is a multiplication. And here, the slash here is the result from the division. The first three I don't want to mention, right? This is I think is quite easy, but the result of the division. Imagine that you have a 14, right, divided by 5. The result, just the result, it will be 0. But the next one, it will be a little bit unfamiliar for some of you guys. It's using percent in the operators. It is remainder of the division. So in case that, imagine that we using a 14 divided by 5. Of course, the remainder will be 4 because 5 times 2 is equal to 10, and to resolve it, it will be equal to 4. So the remainder, we not going to use much, and yeah, you're going to use in like very high level programming. Okay. So yeah, here's is example of it. So yeah, we have an integers named a is equal to 12. Integers b is equal to 8, which of course we're gonna print. We can use this format too. If 12 plus 8, of course, is easy math, is equal to 20. The next one, it's a minus b is equal to 4. You guys can look in the format here. The percent d here, you get two of these variables, a minus b in here too. So sometimes you don't have to just have just a single variables in there. You can have the multiple of it. Next one is a times b, of course, is equal to 96, and a divided by b is equal to 1, and yeah, the a and the modulus of a and b is equal to 4. Yes, of course, the remainder of the division is equal to 4. But the reason that we cannot use here just a percent, because if you are using percent, it cannot be used in here. It will be count the next characters as the another operation, that not this. So you need to use this, the percent %c, and the verse on the first format is here. So do you have any question about the mathematical operators? Okay, so here's is the end of the class. Don't get out right now. We're going to talk about the things that the thing that we introduced you guys earlier. Its name is the Pre-freshy, the code, and you can get in here. And I will open up the challenge for this lesson, and yeah, before the end of the class, please do the form. Please do the form that I sent it to you guys. And yeah, for the last 30 minutes of the lesson, you can do some of the challenges. And yeah, that's pretty much all today. If you have any question for like the challenges, you can ask the TA in the Discord in the text channel, or you have like urgent emergency about the code, you can ask in the voice chat too. So that's pretty much all of it for the lesson today. Thank you so much, and I'm very sorry about the interruption at the first part of the class. And yeah, thank you so much. ขอบคุณมากน้องๆนะครับวันนี้พี่อาจจะเร็วไปนิดนึงเนาะอันนี้พี่ก็ขอโทษด้วยเหมือนกันนะครับก็